Hey everybody, today we're going to show you how to find all 14 Marko's memory locations here in Spider-Man 2. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So memory number 1 is automatically obtained by completing main quest number 2, which is called One Thing at a Time. And once you complete that quest, it will then unlock all of the other Marko's memories. So we're going to start with number 2. So crystal number 2 is going to be found on the far southern point of the financial district. You can see our exact location here. We're actually going to be on top of this building that we have marked. Now keep in mind, when you get to each one of these crystals, you're going to have to fight the Sandmen that jump out of the ground. We're just not going to show you that so we don't waste too much of your time. And also, side note, if you leave after taking out the Sandmen and go too far away and then come back, they will respawn. But go ahead and open up that crystal and you'll get memory number 2. Crystal number 3 is also going to be on the southern side of the financial district. This one is about as far south as you can go down here. And you'll find it once you get over here to the park. We're just going to head right over here to the other side of this little fountain. You will find the crystal by the water. You can go ahead and open that up and get memory number 3. Crystal number 4 is going to be found on the far northern side of the financial district. You guys will see on our map, we have 4 buildings kind of like in a square pattern. And we're going to be on the ground in between all 4 of them. Right down here next to the dumpster, you'll find the crystal. You can go ahead and open that up and we'll get memory number 4. Crystal number 5 is found on the far western side of Chinatown, and as we zoom in here, we're actually going to be on the ground, but we're right next to the building that has a water tower on the top. So you guys can see we're again going to be in an alleyway here. Just work your way to the back of the alley next to the dumpster. We go ahead and open up the crystal and get memory number 5. Crystal number 6 is going to be found pretty much right in the middle of Chinatown. We'll zoom in nice and slow here so you can see exactly which building to go to. We're right next to the tall buildings that look like plus signs. But once you make your way over here on top of the building, there's a lot of towers nearby to make it easier to see. Go ahead and pick up that crystal and you will get memory number 6. Crystal number 7 is going to be found on the far western side of Greenwich. You guys can see our exact location here. We'll be right in between these buildings and it'll be pretty easy to find as it's on the middle of a basketball court. As you work your way back here between all the buildings, you'll find the basketball court. You'll find our crystal. Open that up. We'll get memory number 7. Crystal number 8 is going to be found on the far southwestern side of Midtown. We'll zoom in nice and slow so you guys can see the exact buildings that we're headed to. But once you get over here, we're actually going to be right in the middle of all of these buildings. We're going to have another little alleyway and you'll see the crystal bright as day in the back corner. Go ahead and open it up and we'll get memory number 8. Crystal number 9 is going to be pretty close to the middle of Midtown. We'll zoom in nice and slow here. We're going to be on top of the building that we have marked, which is just south of this massive building here. And I'm actually standing on top of that massive building. So if you look down and see where all the smoke's coming from, that's where the crystal is going to be. We go ahead and dive down. Just be careful here. And once you land on the roof, you can go ahead and open up the crystal and we will get memory number 9. Crystal number 10 is going to be found on the southern side of Central Park, right down here in this little cluster of trees. And it's actually right next to the pond. So you guys can see the crystal's actually right next to the water. So you get over here, go ahead and open up that crystal and we'll get memory number 10. Crystal number 11 is going to be found on the northern side of Little Odessa. You guys can see we're actually on top of a pretty massive building. It's the biggest one around. So you guys can see we have it marked here. But once you make it up top, once again, open up that crystal and we will get memory number 11. Crystal number 12 is going to be found on the western side of Williamsburg. As we zoom in here, we're going to be on top of the building that we have marked. It's actually just north of the building that looks like a giant staircase. So once you get over here, just climb up to the top of the building. You'll find our crystal on the roof. Open that crystal up and we will get memory number 12. Crystal number 13 is going to be found right in the middle of downtown Brooklyn. Now, as we zoom in, you guys will see we're going to have a small group of tall buildings here. We're going to be right in the middle of all of these. And this crystal is pretty easy to find. As you guys can see, we're kind of just off the side of the road here and there's nothing covering the crystal. You can come over here and once you open that up, we'll get memory number 13. Now, crystal number 14 is only going to show up on the map once you complete the first 13, and that's going to be found on the far western side of downtown Brooklyn. You can see our exact location here. It's pretty easy to find. It's basically just a dump surrounded by a fence, and the crystal's right in the middle. Now, you're not going to have to fight any Sandmen here. You're going to immediately interact with this thing, and it's going to take you to a different world. So you go ahead and fast travel to wherever, and once you spawn in, you're going to see this giant yellow orb. All you need to do is follow the orb. You're not going to be able to do anything crazy. You just stay on the ground and kind of run underneath this thing. And essentially it's going to lead you to where we need to be. So just continue to jump around and follow this giant yellow orb. It's going to lead us around all these body parts sticking out of the ground. We could eventually jump over this head and we'll get to the big crystal. Now that orb is going to go inside that big crystal. Essentially the goal here is to continuously pick up rocks and throw them at this crystal and break it. However, Sandmen will start spawning, and keep this in mind, they're going to continuously respawn. So take out as many as you can until there's only a few left, and then it'll keep respawning like 2 to 4 at a time, and continuously throw those rocks at the crystal while you're avoiding them. Eventually you'll break it and get the smaller crystal inside, and when you open that thing up, you will then get memory number 14. And once you collect all 14 memories, the little marker is going to pop up on your map. It's on the far northern side of the map on the northeastern side of Astoria, and it's going to be on a house. Now, when you get up here, we'll show you exactly what this house is going to look like in case you're not sure which one to go inside of. But this house directly in front of us, we're just going to go up to the door, interact with it, and that's going to cue the final cutscene. We're going to watch that cutscene, and after it's over, you will get the trophy for finding all 14, and you will get your little rewards. But that's how to find all 14 of Marko's memories here in Spider-Man 2. Hopefully this video helped some of you guys out. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.